everyone, it's Nicole and you're watching Bite Me. And today we are going to make a brownie recipe. Although it's more like a brownie cake, this is the go-to dessert that my mother made for all of our birthday parties because we all loved it so very much. So to start with, what we're going to do is take 113 grams of butter with 1.5 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and you want to melt your butter on a stove, and then when it's completely melted, add your cocoa to it, and that will help your cocoa bloom. And I'm going to put that to the side. Next, what we're going to do is just add about 185 grams of sugar, and it's fine sugar. You don't want to have big granules of sugar for this. And we're going to add this to our mixer along with 2 eggs, and these are room temperature organic normal sized eggs. So what I'm going to do is just let this start beating, and then I'm going to add my cocoa to that. So now that has mixed a little bit. Too much excitement from having to make brownies. I'm just going to add some of the cocoa. It's a really straightforward recipe and it's great for kids. Till today, if my mother made us a brownie cake for her birthday, I think we would just be super happy. And let that mix. Once that's all nicely incorporated, it only takes a few minutes, if at all a few minutes, I'm going to start adding my flour, which is 170 grams of sifted all-purpose flour. I'm going to do this in batches because it will just mix more easily that way. After every mix, you want to scrape down the sides with your spatula. Make sure all of the flour gets incorporated nicely. Also, you don't necessarily need to use an electric beater for this. You could do this by hand. I'm going to add some more of the flour. The last of the flour. And now I'm also going to add a pinch of salt, just a tiny bit. And half a teaspoon of baking powder. Just about half a teaspoon of instant coffee. It just brings out the flavor of the chocolate much more. And this is 1 teaspoon of nice vanilla flavoring. That's it. It's pretty much all of it except for your walnuts. So now this is the most mom thing that my mom does, is hide nutrition in like naughty food for us. And this is 100 grams of chopped walnuts, or brain food as she used to call it. Just gonna go ahead and pop that in. Give it a slight bit of a mix. Now that's it. That's our small batch of a brownie cake mixed. So I have a small baking tin which has been lined with baking paper or parchment paper, and I've also buttered the baking paper again. These are kind of like sheet brownies. My mom always put them into a larger pan like this. Smush this around a little bit. You could also put in stuff like chocolate chips or marshmallows. If you want, you could put a swirl of peanut butter in this. So this is going to go into a preheated oven. And I bless you, little brownie cake. Come out as nice as my mom's. And I will see you in about 20 to 25 minutes. So now I'm just going to show you all how to make a very basic frosting to go on top of the brownie. So to start with, all I'm going to do is beat my butter by itself until it's creamy. So that takes about 2 minutes. And we do this on a low speed. Give it one last whip. So after the final whip, your butter should be nice and pale and creamy. Just base it on how the butter looks, and it should look creamy and pale. Next, I'm going to add my sugar, which is just icing sugar. I'm going to let that mix a little bit first with about 3 tablespoons of milk and about half the cocoa. And I'm going to let that go for a little bit on slow first, otherwise you're going to have a cloud of icing sugar everywhere. So we're just going to let this go again. Once that's mixed a little bit, you're just going to get your spatula one more time and scrape down the edges of even the attachment itself. Okay, next we're going to add some more of the confectioner sugar or the icing sugar. I'm going to let that whip again. Just going to Put it off and scrape down the edges once again. Also at this point, you're going to go ahead and add your vanilla, and I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons of some vanilla essence. And let's mix again. So this is the lovely consistency that you want for your frosting. Oh, perfect. So my brownie cake is finally cooled, and my mom does make it so thin because what she used to do is just serve it with some lovely vanilla ice cream. But what we're going to do today is use some of the frosting that we made earlier and just lather it on top of the cake. So all I'm going to do is take some with a spatula. I love when frosting just looks like someone's nana made it or someone's grandmother at home. It's not all piped out and dramatic. This is just perfect to me. Right, so it's time to cut. I'm just going to heat up my knife a little bit with some hot water and this napkin. So get nice clean cuts. Okay. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. That's it. That's pretty much how my mom used to make her signature birthday cake for us. So let's try some now. I'm just going to take a tiny sliver of this. It's delicious, especially with the walnuts. And even though it's not a fudgy brownie, it's a lovely dense brownie that just kind of engulfs every piece of walnut, and then you have the soft buttery frosting on top, which every adult and every child is going to definitely enjoy. Try this recipe out, guys. Stick some candles on it for a birthday. Let me know what you think, but be sure to like, share, subscribe and hit the bell button for some more recipes.